Is that small business really overcharging for their handmade items, or are we comparing them to mass produced products whose prices don't reflect the time, energy, and effort that are put into their creation by workers who are undervalued and underpaid in a society that promotes mass consumption?
Making bridal earrings from this pretty mood board. Cheese. Squishy. Squishy cheese. It matches her satin colors perfectly. Cheese. I really should get a real oval cutter but am too broke, haha. Ahoha. Don't mess up LMAO. Satisfying. My fingers are too big for these tiny leaves. Sting over blay. You get a leaf. You get a leaf. Pat. I'm hungry. I could do this all day. Hey, this is fun. I can't wait for her and her bridesmaids to see that these. Happened. Hoa, how did I do that? Beautiful. Let's make some lavender earrings together. Squish. Forbidden pasta. Loop. Roly, roly, roly. Ah, yes. Wow, 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 wow.
Tearing out pieces of me to replace the broken pieces of you. Tearing out pieces of me to replace the broken pieces of you.
I'm fucking broken. You see me empty. License turn the bottle in my head. I'm feeling dizzy, but you never fucking listen. Gotta.
How to start making clay earrings part 1 using the absolute least. First, get some clay. I use Sculpey Primo or Souffle, never Sculpey 3, it will just break on you, you will be sad. And just start with one color you like. To roll the clay flat, you'll just need a rolling pin or a vase, you can get creative with it. And then to cut the clay, you can use an X-Acto knife or any other type of blade that you have. You can get really creative, and then you'll want something to poke holes with. So you can use a tack or any other like sharp pointy thing that you have. And then don't even invest in posts yet, just use fisheye hooks. Once you've really mastered the clay, then I would start with the learning curve that comes with attaching posts, but for now, this is all you need. If you have any questions or if you want more tips, be sure to comment, follow, or just reach out. This is a great question, and the answer is that your clay will snap. You want to see it again? Yeah. How about one more time? Yeah. So what you want your clay to do when you bake it is to be able to bend very easily without snapping. So that when you wear earrings or give someone earrings, you know that they're not going to break upon impact or if the person's playing with them. And that's why I always use Sculpey Souffle or Sculpey Primo, never Sculpey 3. I usually buy my clay off of the Sculpey website. That's just where I've gotten used to buying it, and they usually do like a 10% discount that you can, search and find and put in there. But there's actually a national shortage right now of polymer clay, at least as we have deduced in the polymer clay community. This is weird, this is a strange thing. I think it has to do with the pandemic. It also has to do with the increasing popularity of polymer clay jewelry and polymer clay makers making things, creating things, and that's great. If you are having a hard time finding clay, I would search on Etsy, search in Facebook groups also and see if you can exchange with anyone. But most importantly, I think be flexible in your color schemes and work with what you have. If you're not using a Dremel for sanding or drilling your polymer clay jewelry, you're probably wasting a lot of time. So first, I would recommend getting something super cheap. I got this Keshi Dremel off of Amazon. It came with a couple of drill bits, and I use this for drilling. I used to use it for sanding also. It's wireless, and you can charge it. It doesn't last that long though, so I eventually upgraded and got a Dremel. Pretty sure this is the Silo, and I use this one almost exclusively for sanding, and I use different sanding bits like this. They're actually buffing bits, but polymer clay is so soft, you don't want to use a super gritty sandpaper. So this one's great because I can plug it in and it never runs out of charge when I'm sanding for hours and hours and hours on end. And this one I can just grab really quickly when I need to drill some holes, and the battery lasts way longer that way when I keep them separate for different uses. Let me know if you have other questions. So how do you give your earrings that glossy effect, like this? I don't do this very often, but the way that I can achieve that look is by using UV resin. However, this is not for the faint of heart, and I would only recommend this if you're also going to invest in some PPE. I use a gas mask, and if you don't want to work with harsh chemicals, some brands have things like this Sculpey Satin Glaze. I found this a little more matte. Totally depends what you're going for. But overall, the best way to ensure a really nice finish is to be sanding it, buffing it, making sure there are no little fuzzies or fingerprints on it, and just making sure that you have a nice clean product before it even goes in the oven.